practice. We're talking about practice. You're always practicing. The question is, what are you practicing? If you spend your day complaining, then you're practicing complaining, and you achieve the results of that. If you spend each day sitting around, not moving, then you are practicing weakening your muscles, because that's what happens if you don't move, if you don't get your body going. Whatever you spend a lot of time doing or thinking, that's your practice. Practice literally wires into your brain whatever it is that you're practicing, and you get better at it. The problem is, for most people, our practice is unconscious. Not you, of course, but for most people. The idea here, then, is to consciously choose your practices every day, and then to do it. And then to catch yourself when you're practicing something that you don't want, so that you can change it to something that you do want. Place it. So my thing this summer has been to practice joy and love. And one way I practice joy is to sing. I'm driving in my car, or I'm walking, or I'm in my office, or I'm washing the dishes, or whatever I'm doing. I just sing. And so I'll pick songs that make me feel good. And so I have one that I picked this summer that I've been singing, and I want to share it with you. I think Ray's going to help me on this, but hold up a second. I want to give you the lyrics in case you want to join in. So let's give them a second to get those out. Anyway, this song, it's a love song. You've all heard it before. It's been around a while. And when I sing it, I'm not singing it to a person. I'm singing it to love itself. This song, I think, was written in the early 50s, and it was made famous by, of course, Frank Sinatra. But my favorite version was by a little girl from Norway named Angelina Jordan. I don't know what style Ray's going to play it in here, but we'll all try to keep up because we haven't really practiced. So the song, as you'll recognize, is Fly Me to the Moon. Among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Instrumental part. And then we'll jump in with the second verse when he's done there. Everybody now? Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Thank you. And all of you, thank you. That was great. You sounded great. Now that is a fun song, isn't it? Yeah, and you can frame it, change a few words if you want. I don't think that Bart will mind, Bart Howard, who wrote the song. All right, so that really helps me to cultivate a feeling of joy and fun. So as many of you know, I walk every morning about 2 to 3 miles, and I've been doing that for 4 years and 3 months, and I haven't missed a day. Wow. I get out in nature. It doesn't matter what nature's doing, raining, snowing, sleet, whatever, but I will admit this year sometimes I've walked indoors, but I still do the 2 or 3 miles. And when I walk, I also pray, so I'm doing 2 practices. I'm practicing walking, keeping my body in shape, and I'm praying. And so I'm praying for a good 45 minutes to an hour, and I pretty much pray for everybody in my life, including all of you. Some of the prayers are healing prayers, some are mostly about well-being. Well, during my walk, one of my prayers is for my ancestors, and I pray for my mother and father, who are both gone now. My mother passed away last November, and I was very close to her and love her very much. But my father passed away. He was only 62, and that was quite a while ago. We did not have a good relationship. We didn't yell and scream at each other because, well, we did when I was in college. But I guess I grew up a little, and I said, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. And we didn't get along that well in my mind, but I did what I needed to do to get along because I got married early and I had kids, and I didn't want there to be conflict in my family. So during that time, we did okay. We just weren't close. There were times I reached out to him, but he never reached out back. And so I never really felt anything from him. And then he had a stroke in his brainstem when he was 60, and then he was out of commission basically for 2 years before he passed away. When he passed away, I cared mostly about my mom and my siblings, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any grief. I didn't feel any loss or love. There was just nothing. And that really bothered me, that I didn't feel anything. Because to me, if someone passes on that's my family or a friend or whatever, I like it that I feel something. I mean, it means that I care, right? Anyway, so during my walks, my prayer for my father is that I love him and that I want him to be who he is in truth. And so I say the words, but they're words, but I practice them. For 4 years, I practiced them. And this summer, I noticed something. I actually feel the love for him. The feeling is there. It took me 4 years to get there. But sometimes practice, you don't get instant results. You just keep on doing it. And so I was very happy. Just like one day I'm walking and I said the words, I go, oh, I actually feel what I'm saying. That's cool. So that to me is the benefit of practice. You just keep on doing it. In my early 20s, I was a teacher, and I taught 6th grade. I was an agnostic then. Pretty much wasn't interested in any kind of religion, but I did read a lot of spiritual books. I hadn't studied any psychology yet, but I had this girl came into my class, 11, 12-year-old girl, and I couldn't stand her. I don't know what it was about her, but I just didn't like her. Even though I was 24 years old, I was smart enough to know that I didn't hide my feelings toward people very well, and that she was innocent, that it wasn't her fault I didn't like her, I just didn't like her. And so I didn't want to inflict that on her, so I knew I needed to do something. So every day, I would come up with something I liked about her. She turned in her homework. She got a good grade. She said good morning to me and smiled. Whatever it would be, I practiced liking something about her every day. And it was interesting because after a couple of weeks, I found that I actually did like her. I liked her a lot. And so that taught me something at that young age, that if I don't like someone, it's not about them. It's about me. It's a me issue. And so that's where the problem needs to be solved. And the only way I can solve it is to address what I'm feeling and then to practice how I want to feel. So whenever I've been sick or injured, and I've led a pretty healthy life, but I've had some injuries at times. Some of you may remember the last time I had an injury. I was playing basketball and somebody ran into me and I ended up with torn and strained ligaments in my right leg and I was in a boot for 8 weeks. So I delivered my talk sitting down. But whenever I'm in those kinds of situations, I practice being well. I don't ever say, why me? Why has this happened to me? I just don't go there. Years ago, back in my 30s, I broke my hip and I had a metal in my hip. I had surgery. And even then, I didn't say, well, why me? I just said, okay, what do I need to do to move forward? And that served me well because everybody was telling me, oh, your hip, it's going to take a good year for that to heal. 3 months later, I'm playing full court basketball. So to me, no, I don't care what everybody else says. It's like, I'm going to practice being well. What do I need to do? Be on crutches for 6 weeks? Okay, I'll do that. Do exercises that are excruciatingly painful to get past the atrophy? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then I get well. I still have the metal in my hip to remind me, but I've been fine for many, many years. So that's how I look at it, that In my belief system, all disease is a result of feelings that I did not want to feel. Something that's been repressed in my body. That's the source. And how do I know that? Well, it's universal law. Like attracts like. It's spelled out in A Course in Miracles, in A Course of Love, in the writings of David Hawkins, in the New Thought writing, that whatever's going on, it's from the vibration that you're carrying. And that doesn't mean you should blame yourself for it. You shouldn't, because that doesn't help. Then you have two things to overcome, the issue and the blaming. So it's like, notice that this is just the human experience and stuff happens. We do attract things into our life that are not fun. It's the human experience. What we need to do then is to face those things, accept them. So the first practice is accepting not so much the situation, but how you feel about it. You're upset about whatever's going on in your life. Address that being upset. Accept that feeling and be with it. You don't have to get rid of it. You just have to me, accept it and embrace it. This is where I am. And then move forward to where you want to be. Sometimes I get depressed. I wake up in the morning and I feel not so good. So I just accept it and then I move forward. For me, what helps with depression is not to assume the bodily position, slouching and breathing up here, but to stand up straight, to breathe deeply, and maybe sing Fly Me to the Moon, I don't know, or to just go walk and do my prayers. And that brings me out of it. Where in the past, if it was really bad, I would just sit with it, accept it, and embrace it, and then it would pass. Because when you don't resist emotions, they pass through you much more quickly. But when you resist them, you're kind of stuck with them for a while. And it's gotten to the point now where I don't need to spend a whole lot of time sitting with it because it's not so bad. And I find that if I just move forward and get into my prayers, all that stuff dissipates. And I find myself in a totally different mood. That's from practice. That's from 4 years and 3 months of every morning getting up and walking and praying. I started another practice earlier this year because I noticed that since the whole COVID thing, I stopped going to the gym and my muscles were getting weaker. So I said I should do something about that. What do I want? Well, I want to be stronger. So I bought this program online. It was called Ripped in 90 Days. It's basically 6 days a week of weightlifting. There's a gym about 3 blocks from my house in a community center. So I joined that and I started lifting weights 6 days a week. And I've done that every week except for the 2 weekends when the gym was closed, which included this weekend. I was very disappointed when I went there yesterday and it was closed. Oh yeah, it's Labor Day. Anyway, so was I ripped in 90 days? Not quite. But I definitely feel certain muscles are bigger and stronger. And I was at Saugatuck a couple months ago with some family members, and we were at one of the beaches there, and there was a dune. I climbed up this dune, and as I'm climbing up, it hurts, in my thighs. I go, wow, I guess I'm not as far as I thought I was. But I went straight up, and I didn't stop. About 5 minutes later, the rest of the family comes up, and they're all looking at me. You just walked straight up that thing. How'd you do that? I said, oh, well, I guess I have made some progress. Because even though it still hurt a little bit, I got up there pretty well. So anyway, one guy at the gym told me, the hardest part is getting here. And for me, it's like, no, it's not. Why isn't it? Because I have an intention, I made a commitment, and I've made it a habit. It's a practice. When I have a practice, I don't know about you, but if you have a practice and you keep it going, it's really hard to break it, whether it's a negative one or a positive one. So for me, it's hard not to go to the gym. It would be hard not to walk and pray. Now, there's other things, negative thoughts I carry, things like that. Yeah, those can be hard and hard to break, but I work on them, like all of you, I'm sure. I saw a movie a few weeks ago on TV. It was entitled 7 Days in Utopia. And the star of the movie was Robert Duvall, who's actually one of my favorite actors. And he plays the older mentor to a young guy who's a golfer. And the golfer had some big failures in his game. And so Robert Duvall is mentoring, teaching him how to improve his golf game. And of course, doing it in ways that are fairly unconventional. And so what he tells him to do, he says, practice SFT. And he has him write SFT on his golf ball. And so what he says is, when you're going to hit that golf ball, see it going where you want to go, where you want it to go. Feel it going there and trust. So SFT, see it, feel it, trust. When you're moving forward towards something you want, whatever it may be, deeper spirituality, greater prosperity, more wellness, whatever it may be, can you see it, feel it, and trust that you're on the path, you're going? In the Daily Word, there was the comment in there that people get frustrated that, oh, I've done my affirmation and nothing's happening. That's wrong. Something is happening. The problem is you're going for a final result. The final result is now. It's in the practice. If I say that I love my dad, then in that moment, I'm loving my dad. And maybe the next moment I'm not, but when I'm saying it, I'm there. And so if you're affirming and praying, when you're in the midst of that, you're there. And to say later, oh, I can't believe nothing's happening, you're your own child, or doing something you love, there we go, being with someone you love, any person or situation where you feel great love. And as you're reminding yourself of that, breathe in, imagining your breath going right into your heart center. Breathe into your heart and feel that loving feeling, that loving vibration, that energy. Feel it and let it radiate throughout your body, energizing and enlivening every system, organ, and function in your body. Feel it and give thanks. See it, feel it, and trust that it's there. See it radiating outward into your world and feel it. See it and feel it healing friends and family and beyond. You are the presence of love. You are love made manifest. Bask in it and trust. Trust that your love, the love you feel that you're sending out there, is real and it's doing its work. See it, feel it, and trust. Thank you. So you've just practiced love, and I would recommend that you keep on doing that. And you can expect instant results, and sometimes we get them, but most likely it will appear that you're not getting those results in the physical. And realize that whatever's in the physical, they're only appearances. I mean, if you read any of your New Thought literature, that's what it says. All this stuff that we think is negative, it's just appearances. If we can get past that to reality, the reality is that love that you feel, that connection to God. If you affirm, if you love, if you heal by intending that you've already accomplished your vision, then you know that anything else is an illusion. Everything else is an appearance. So be patient. If you don't get the physical result that you're looking for, be patient. After all, it took me 4 years to feel that love from my father, but I never stopped. And one day, you'll realize that what you were going for, what you were embodying in your affirmation and prayer, it's there. You'll say, wow, it just kind of sneaked up on me. Here it is. Because it doesn't really come with like a fanfare and a band and everything. It just kind of, it's there because you've done the work. So we practice love then by forgiving the people that hurt us, by being the presence of love, by forgiving ourselves, by loving ourselves. We let love embrace us as we embrace it. And the love of God embraces us, it heals us, it prospers us, it makes us whole. So consciously practice love and joy, confidence, letting go, coming to know. And that's the last thing. Coming to know is a practice I got from A Course of Love that goes with trust. That I realize that when I look at a situation, I really don't know what's going on. Not in my mind. So I trust that I will come to know. That the intuition, the voice of God within me, will inform me or show me. But right now, I don't know. So if I'm sick, if I'm in pain, I can look at that and say, okay, I think this is bad, but I really don't know if it's bad or good. It just is. And so I trust in the presence of God. I trust in the presence of love that I am healing and that I am on the right path. And you keep going forward. So keep going forward. Thank you.
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.